Hey guys, just wanted to talk to you real quick. In this upcoming battle report, made two mistakes. One of which was I scout moved my Land Raider, which you are actually not allowed to scout move a Land Raider if a unit inside has scout. It only gives scout to a dedicated transport. Land Raiders are not dedicated transports, so that does not work. That was one mistake that was made. The second one was we had player placed objectives, and I was talking about how, hey, I could technically place my objective in your deployment zone, and because it just says placed in deployment zones. That does not work because if you look in the Leviathan packet for the order of operations of the game, you actually set up the objective markers first and then roll for attacker and defender. So you would actually not know your deployment zones. Wanted to address those real quick because I don't want to mislead anybody to thinking that that's how those rules should be played and lead to misinterpretations out there on the internet and build into that. That's not what we want to do. So, this is a point of the game, 10th edition, where now we're getting into those fine details and fine timing of how things work and how things interact. And we're going to make some mistakes while we mash out the final details. This is going to be the nitty gritty time. This is going to be where some cool, hopefully not too broken mechanics come out. Again, I don't want to mislead anybody to thinking how those rules work. Guys, this community has been amazing. I've loved being a part of this. All the comments, all the feedback, everything, everyone's been very positive, and it's just been so much fun to be a part of as we get super close to 1,000. Guys, it has been a trip, and I look forward to continuing to do content and putting stuff out there. I record basically every single game I've played. I've recorded. So yes, we make a couple mistakes with this stuff because this is the time that I'm getting to mash out these details and learn this, but wait, could you do this? And try those things and still bring them out there. And, the questions that get brought up or the rules clarifications that get brought up, I guarantee someone else has thought the same thing. There's somebody else who's thought the same thing or looked at something and went, I wonder if you could do this. And we're helping to clear everything up for the entire community and make sure that everyone understands the rules of this game. And it's really cool, cool time to be part of Warhammer. And guys, thank you so much. Appreciate all the support and look forward to everything else we're going to be doing on the channel. Thank you guys. Enjoy the battle report. Welcome back, all the 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ here with Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40K battle report. Joined once again by Lane.
Hey, guys.
Coming right back hot off the Recess RGT. GT. No, that was a GT. That was a GT. I'm so used to...
It was a 2-day 5-round, but there were only 18 players. I don't know if that qualifies as a GT.
Okay, fair. So
I think it's got to have 30 players. I don't know.
I do think there is a player restriction. Let us know in the comment section. I think there is a restriction to how many players for it, but it was a 2-day, 5-game event, and you did quite well.
I did fine. I went 3-2. I got to play a lot of the meta armies, which I wanted to do. Like I got to play against Imperial Knights, Custodes. Thousand Sons are pretty good, so I got to play in those and Necrons. And
you've never got to play against Necrons before.
Yeah, it's something new for me. I learned a lot. I got to play against the ultimate meta army, Karsharkadons, the Space Marine chapter that everyone plays.
Yeah.
So it was a good time.
Shout out to Wes and his Grey Knights. He knows what I'm talking about.
Well, shout out to Wes for taking first place for paint. I did get to take second place for paint. Army. Yeah, it's an amazing army. I had a great time. I finished 6th out of 18. Very happy with that. The performance. If you take away win-loss, I was actually 2nd in terms of total battle points.
That's awesome.
So I felt like I scored strong. Actually, my lowest scoring game of the tournament was one of my wins. For some reason, I had a 55-point win.
For some reason, For some reason, I got this far and it's like winning the dice roll. It's like, I got to win the dice roll to go first. What'd you roll? A 2.
I got real excited about killing things rather than scoring secondaries. And it worked. I got the win. Win's a win. So.
There you go. Awesome.
Anyways, I feel like it was good practice for this coming weekend when we're going to Columbus.
Yes. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. Turn on the bell for notification. Get notified on all of our content, including recaps that we do. Hopefully I don't run into any crazy guard matchups of things that I'm not prepared for. And that even though with what I'm bringing is currently sitting at a 25% win rate. Grey Knights are at the bottom of the barrel right now.
Down there with Votan.
Votan are up there. Votan are above me. Right now, Votan...
What, 26%?
Something. I think there were 27. 27 or 29.
All right.
But Grey Knights, bottom of the barrel. So it's either going to be put up or shut up with them for me. And I mean, I do have a lot of tricks with this list. Mm-hmm. I play a really strong primary and secondary game, and then I go away. I disappear. But I do love my Grey Knights but I think it's my best painted army. My display board is really cool and really easy to transport.
Super cool.
So I'm really looking forward to the chance of just displaying them for right now, because Necron's going to get a codex. I still have there's a whole slew of stuff to go through with Necrons that I have planned for the future, and I'm going to be on them for a while. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to take a breather for a minute, play the Grey Knights, get out for the weekend, have some fun, and see some old friends who I haven't gotten to see in a while. Hopefully see some of you guys out there as well, too, if you guys are going to be at the event. And, yeah, roll some dice. So with that being said, Lane, you are finalized on your list now. Mm-hmm. This is the list that you're taking, because we had to get lists locked in. And funny as it was, actually, little sidebar thing, I got a message from Scott, who's running the GT, and he told me that I didn't send in my list yet. Apparently, I'm registered twice for the tournament.
You were registered twice.
That was hilarious. Yeah. I'm like, cool.
He probably didn't tell you if he collected double the entry fee.
I'm hoping not.
DJ
he's going to do this. Yeah, we're going to do like a Bobby Fischer 40K style thing.
He's playing Grey Knights and Necrons this weekend. He's got two. He just has to have the two tables next to each other. That's the only stipulation.
In one sense, I say it's like Bobby Fischer playing multiple games of 40K at the same time, but I feel like it's going to be more like Bart Simpson, where they're like, wow, he's playing 2 games of chess, and then checkmate, Bart loses. That's more what it's going to be. All right. Enough of that. Lists. Yours is locked in. Mm-hmm. Let's go over and talk about what you're going to be bringing today and this weekend.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Here's the DeathWatch that I'm bringing both today and this weekend and this past weekend. So a couple things to remember about DeathWatch. They are Space Marines, so they do get Oath of Moment. They do not get Doctrines that Space Marines get. Instead, I have Mission Tactics, which function kind of similar to Doctrines in that there's 3 of them, and I get to choose one, or I can choose one in my command phase, and it becomes active for the entire battle round. The 3 of them, I forget the names. I promise I'll remember them at some point, but one of them is my entire army gets lethal hits, shooting and fighting. The second one is my entire army gets sustained hits, shooting and fighting. And the third one is anytime I roll a 6 to hit, shooting or fighting, that hit becomes precision. So I'm able to target some characters. This can be useful, especially with if I pull the assassination secondary card. So those are the juicy little things. I also have some powerful stratagems that improve my shooting with DeathWatch. If I have kill teams, and specifically the kill teams, so not my Terminator squads or my Inceptors, but I can use one stratagem for 1 CP, and it affects 2 kill teams, so I get a lot of value from the strats. Most of the strats are just improving my shooting, either giving me extra AP, or with an extra 6 inches of range, or letting me advance and ignore cover, or turning all my guns into anti-infantry 2-up, anti-monster 5-up. I also have a teleportarium strat, which is super spicy. I pick 1 kill team or one of my Space Marine units, and I pick it up. Or I pick, 2 kill teams or 1 Space Marine unit. I pick it up at the end of my my opponent's turn, and then I bring it down in my reserve step, a la Deep Strike, outside of 9 inches of any opponent's models. This is great for scoring these secondary missions, for getting on primaries, and for getting all these Cyclone missiles you're about to see on targets. So to start with the list, I've got 2 characters. We've got a Space Marine Captain in Terminator armor. Of course, he's going to be accompanying a Terminator squad. He lets his unit reroll a charge roll. He also does the captain thing for Space Marines, where he makes 1 stratagem cost 0. Even if I've used it before in this phase, I can make 1 strat for his unit cost 0 CP. In addition to that, he has the enhancement Tome of Ectoclades. This I can pop once per game in my command phase, and I get to choose 2 Oath of Moment targets. This does not function like Gilliman's double Oath of Moment, where you have to kill one then the other. I just get 2 Oath of Moment targets. I can shoot at them in any order, in any sequence. Just gives me a little extra damage output for a turn if I've got 2 juicy targets I need to take care of. I also have the Callous Assassin. She did great this past weekend. She is, first of all, her ability is that she allows you to, after a opponent has used the stratagem, you can trigger her ability. I mean, and then for the rest of the battle, that stratagem costs an extra CP for your opponent. That's super useful, but really what I've gotten out of her is her mobility. At the end of each of my opponent's turns, I can pick her up and bring her back in deep strike in my turn. This allows me to use her to score secondaries and primaries. She is lone operative, so you can't shoot her unless you're within 12 inches, and she shoots and fights all right on her own. She's not quite the beat stick she used to be, but she is great for scoring points. Then on to my units. I have 2 big old Proteus kill teams. These are 10-man kill teams. They are mixed units, so each one has 5 veterans. 4 of the veterans have a heavy weapon, and 1 of them has a DeathWatch Thunderhammer. Each one has 4 Terminators. 3 Terminators will have Cyclone missile launchers, and 1 Terminator will have a Thunderhammer Storm Shield. And then I've got 1 bike in the unit. The bike and the Terminators are toughness 5. The regular infantry are toughness 4. Now, when it comes to these mixed unit kill teams, as long as there are more toughness 5 models or they're an equal number, I can use toughness 5 as the toughness of the unit when it is being targeted. So anytime I take wounds on this unit or take armor saves, I'm losing one of the regular infantry guys, the firstborn veterans, before I start picking up a Terminator or a bike, so that I maintain that majority T5, or at least equal T5, T4, so that the unit is functionally T5. Now, these 2 kill teams are the same, other than 1 squad has 4 frag cannons as their heavy weapons, and the frag cannons, only an 18-inch range, but it's D3 blast, and it's rapid fire D3, so if I get within 9 inches, then I've got 2 D3 shots, and it is blast. And in addition to that, it's strength 7, AP 1, 2 damage. Remember, I do have a stratagem that extends my range by 6 inches for a unit, so I can get him that rapid fire if I'm within 12 inches. And then the other squad has Infernus Heavy Bolters, 4 Infernus Heavy Bolters. These are either a Heavy Flamer or a Heavy Bolter. I get to choose which profile I shoot with, just regular Marine Heavy Flamer or Heavy Bolter, but different. I can choose those profiles depending on the situation. The Proteus kill teams have a special rule. Anytime they target a unit that is half strength or above, they get +1 to hit. That's both shooting and fighting, so that can be super valuable. Moving on, we've got 2 squads of Plasma Inceptors. Their special rule is that they deep strike. When they deep strike, it's only they only have to be more than 3 inches away. These guys are great for sneaking onto objectives, for jumping into corners, or to be able to engage in all fronts, or investigate signals, and they also put out a decent amount of damage. In this past weekend in the 5-game tournament, I think I probably killed more of my own guys myself by rolling pretty poorly on my hazardous rolls when I overcharge these things, but their damage output is pretty good, and when you need to kill something, being able to put out some shots that are strength 8, AP 3, 3 damage is pretty good value. Then I've got 2 DeathWatch Terminator squads, a little bit different from Space Marine Terminators. They are 5 points more, but for those extra 5 points, a 5-man squad can take 3 heavy weapons. So yeah, each of these Terminator squads has 3 Cyclone missile launchers and 2 Thunderhammer Storm Shield guys. And the DeathWatch Terminator special rule is that when they complete a charge, any enemy units with an engagement range have to take a battle shock test immediately. Moving on to my vehicles, I have 1 Hailstrike Storm Speeder. This guy just puts out a lot of small bullets. Nothing super powerful, but after I'm done shooting with it, I pick one of the units that he's hit, and for the rest of that shooting phase, my entire army gets extra AP into that target. That's going to be great into DJ's Grey Knights that are all 2-up armor. This thing can also deep strike. Speeders do have the deep strike keyword, so if you're playing speeders, remember you can do that if you want to. Another way to get on objectives or to get into corners of the board. And then I've got 2 of the Whirlwinds. These guys put out a pretty good volume of shots. They are 3 plus D6 blast. They have a 72-inch range on their indirect fire launchers. Strength 8, AP 2, 2 damage. And anytime they hit something, that infantry unit has to take a battle shock test. So they are able to reach out and do some damage as well. And got the Hunter Killer missiles on those. Space Marine players, don't forget about your Hunter Killer missiles. They are so good in this edition. They're much stronger than they were in the past, and with the Oath of Moment rerolls, you almost always get that hit, especially with the ballistic skill too. So don't forget about them. All right, guys, that is the list I've got. DJ, what are you bringing today?
All right, so I got my Grey Knights all packed and stacked and ready to beat some DeathWatch in, and we'll see. So I do have a little bit of, I do have some heavy anti-infantry. So this is one time that I'm actually going to get to test out something that's been kind of stirring with my list, but unfortunately running into not quite the targets I want for it. All right, so my Grey Knights for today and for this weekend. First of all, I have my Land Raider. Land Raider is the las cannon pattern one. This gives me a nice little bunker on the field to be able to put 2 of my 5-man squads that you'll talk about in a second on the field and keep protected from artillery like Lane's Whirlwinds. Moving over to my Dread Knight. This is a regular Dread Knight, not a Grandmaster, just because of the advance and charge options on him with the side cannon, silencer, and hammer. He's been able to do a lot of damage. He's definitely been the kill count character, creature, monster of my army because he's not actually a character. Now we'll go over to the troops. I got 2 5-man of Strike and 2 5-man of Interceptor. The Interceptor have this cute little ability that they can move 6 inches after they shoot. So it allows me to get on objective markers that I normally wouldn't be able to because I might be zoned out 9 inches on a deep strike. Strike are objective control 2, and they're able to sticky objectives that they're on with their psychic power. Both units have a single side cannon in each. I also am bringing a Calidus Assassin. As Lane explained, she is a monster. Special shout out to one of our teammates, Marcus. So I went from not having a Calidus Assassin to now I had Josh, my buddy Tony, Marcus, Zach. I went from not having one to 4 options for this weekend. Marcus, though, appreciate you, man. Thank you for letting me borrow your assassin for this tournament. Hopefully they'll come back in stock soon, so I'm able to pick up my own. She's great, as Lane explained in his explanation, with all the abilities and the ability to pick up, redeploy, 12 inches, not being shot within 12 inches for lone operative, as well as her ability to vex a stratagem and make it cost 1 command point more. I also have 5 Voidsmen at arms. These guys literally are just 40 points for some guys that are objective control value too. They'll hang out in strategic, wander onto the board, and wander on to an objective later in the game. All right, over to my characters and units therewith. So I have a 5-man squad of Terminators led by a Grandmaster. There's a side cannon on him and a side cannon in the squad. I also have a banner, so these guys will be objective control value 3, as well as the sigil on the Grandmaster. So when you shoot me, I'm running away. And now the big bomb of 10 Purifiers with Castle and Crow. The 10 Purifiers have Incinerators. So this unit is anti-infantry for days. They get an additional shot off their Purifying Flame, which is anti-infantry 2 up. And it's just a lot of 1 damage hits to be able to pick up infantry really quickly and real nicely and real efficiently, hopefully as planned. Because like I said, this list is submitted, so hopefully everything I'm talking about right now is going to work. Yeah, so if this doesn't work, then I'm in trouble. That's it, kind of what it comes down to. It's like, oh, if all of a sudden I go, uh-oh, problem here, well, guess that's it for the weekend.
Yeah, lists have been submitted. You're locked in, bud.
I am. This is it. In it to win it. I mean, I got a lot of mission play, and that's really what the army's built around. So hopefully, you know, again, Grey Knights have had a lower win rate right now. A lot of people is just they have great rules. It costs too much, back and forth, back and forth. I think I have a good balance between that. Only time will tell. And so at that point, there is only one thing left for us to do before we can start deploying. And that's
I'm so nervous. I've lost every one of these in 10th edition.
Do you want to roll the dice?
No.
You sure?
No, stop it. You're sure? Even. Throw it.
Throw it even.
Jerk.
And it still ends up being a 3.
Fine.
So I will be the attacker so that you will have to deploy first.
All right.
Sounds like I'm starting to sound like a broken record with that thing. We'll be back after deployment. All right, we are deployed. Now, we're going to break a little bit of the trend here because there's something special with the mission special rule for this game. So, Lane, real quick, talk to me about the mission special rule and what happened here.
Chosen battlefield. So in this mission, the players place the objectives. The way we do this, they're going to place 5 objectives. We roll off to see who gets to place first. The person who places first will get to place 3. the person who loses the roll-off will get to place 2. 1 objective marker must be placed in each deployment zone. However, as DJ pointed out, it does not have to be in you don't have to place the one in your own deployment zone. So for example, DJ could have thrown one in my deployment zone out in the open, forcing me to hold it, and be exposed while holding that objective. And then I would have to place one in his deployment zone.
Well, theoretically, I mean, I could place both the objective markers in both of our deployment zones, but only one could be placed in each one.
Yeah. So DJ could have placed mine in my deployment zone, and then on my turn, I could have placed one in his deployment zone, or I could have not and placed one in the middle of the table, and on his turn, he could have put one in the deployment zone. Anyways, make sure you read the rules, and specifically as far as who does what, because it doesn't require you to place the one in your own deployment zone. You can, of course. DJ chose to. He won the roll-off. He chose to place his nice and cozy and safe inside that building there. And then, as you can see, we're using the big objective markers. They're basically a 40-inch objective marker with a 3-inch bubble around them. For this rule,
40-inch objective marker,
40 millimeter,
40-inch. The table, the table is your objective.
Yeah, it's not my fault that whoever with GW decided to combine metric and English measurements. So, anyways, the objective marker itself is a 40 millimeter objective. It has to be outside the deployment zone and outside of terrain. But as you can see, you can place it next to a piece of terrain, or I could have placed it back here and have been able to control it within my deployment zone. But the marker itself, the 40 millimeters, is the only thing that has to be outside of terrain or not in your deployment zone. Then they just have to be 6 inches from table edge and 9 inches from each other. And that's kind of how we threw them out here on the table.
Right. And that was kind of where I used the tech for one of these. It's outside of my deployment zone. Oop, I got to adjust it a bit because it's on the marker, but I'm going to scoot that one a little to the left. But basically the same thing. So we're able to tag some objective markers because this mission, the priority mission, primary points, wow, I'll get there, is priority targets. So you can score a maximum of 10 each at the beginning of your command phase.
Yeah, you get 5 points for each objective you hold in your command phase, starting in battle round 2. Up to 10 points. So it caps you at 10 points per turn. But at the end of the game, you get 5 points for each one you control, up to 15. So this is kind of one where the end game is very important. You can score a lot of extra points by holding objectives at the end of the game. So who goes first and who goes second is really important. Obviously, whoever goes second has that opportunity to kill their opponent off objectives and take some themselves. So,
and then it's Dawn of War is deployment.
Good old Dawn of War, the way God intended Warhammer to be played.
All right, so now let's talk about our deployments now, because I thought that was kind of important to bring up first. So my deployment, playing it defensively, I got these Grey Knights. Now again, I'm going to have to shuffle that objective marker out a little bit, but I'm still going to put my Terminators. So they're holding that objective on turn 1 just because I can. And then over here, I have the Land Raider with Strike Squad inside, so I'm able to do a scout move. And I'm going to move that guy up. Most likely I'll move him up. Might scoot him back. We'll see. I got a 6-inch move with him because of the strike squads inside on that. And then my Dread Knight hiding back here in the corner. What's hilarious, oh, and then the Calidus Assassin, she's hiding right underneath there in the corner, up over on this building, so that she's able to make a mad dash with this objective if I need that for a tactical mission. What's hilarious is if Lane goes first, I can theoretically, in my turn, pick up the Terminators, the Dread Knight, and the Calidus and literally have only a Land Raider on the field. If he blows up the Land Raider, I could basically just pick up my entire army except for one unit and redeploy them all. It's just kind of funny and silly Grey Knight stuff. So that's how I'm deploying starting off. I have the Purifiers in Deep Strike, the Striker inside of the Land Raider, and the Voidsman at Arms and Interceptors are also in Deep Strike, which does put me with the Land Raider, which is 1, the Strike, which is 2 and 3, Terminators is 4, Calidus 5, and the Dread Knight is 6 units on the table for my 4 units that are in Deep Strike. All right, Lane, what do you got going on?
We got a Whirlwind hiding out in each building. You can see my little Calidus is hiding right down there. And then we've got a Proteus kill team in this one. This one has the frag cannons. And the other building down the line, we've got a Proteus kill team with the Furnace Heavy Bolters, another Whirlwind. And I decided to start the Hail Strike Speeder on the table, although he could Deep Strike. In case I go first and want to try and put some hurt on that Land Raider, he'll be able to put some extra AP on that, give the rest of the armor extra AP. So I wanted that to start off on the table.
All right. So, Lane, what are you thinking? You all going to go first or looking to go second?
I don't think it really matters too much. If I go first, you might pull that Land Raider back and make it more difficult for me to get eyes on him. However, if I go second, then I can scoop up in my turn. I can pick up my 2 kill teams and basically position them on my turn to all have eyes on that Land Raider. So it's actually better, I think, if I go second.
That's what I'm looking for, too. I'm trying to go second. And since most of our games, I've always ended up having to go first. But all right, let's see.
Let's do it. 3s.
Yeah, that didn't fix the problem. I think we've done this multiple times with that, too. I'm going first. I really feel like that's happened multiple times already, that we've both tied, and then I end up going first. All right. Well, I got a scout move, and I got to fix that objective marker, and then we'll be back after my movement in GK turn 1. All right, so this was a bad turn, and this is going to be all of my turn in one fell swoop. So my secondaries were engage on all fronts and behind enemy lines. I could have gone after behind enemy lines. I moved the Land Raider forward on my scout move to see when we knew who was going first. I moved it up forward and wait and see what my tactical was.
So about there.
Yeah, and oh no, it was a little further back. He was like right about here. And so we started measuring out, and I could have moved through here and tried to charge the whirlwind on about a 7-inch charge right there, and got 1 unit most likely in there after we deal with everything. And especially with new charging and stuff like that, I could have probably gotten 1 in there for only a couple of points on a secondary and lost the squad of strike. Since we're not scoring primaries on this turn, if we were scoring primaries, I would have went for it just to try and deny Lane some primary points. But because there's no primary being scored and how the turn went out, I just decided I'm not going to go after that. My other one was engage on all fronts, which typically my army does really, really well when I have things to drop in.
Not on turn 1.
Not on turn 1. So, and again, I could have gone and taken that same Land Raider and sent some strike up this way and been able to get it in 3/4. Again, losing the strike and not really gaining that much else for it. So instead, I Johnny cashed it and knew when to hold him. So I just pulled back with the Land Raider.
That's Kenny Rogers.
Was it Kenny Rogers?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry. No, Johnny Cash was a gambler. No, wait.
Kenny Rogers is a gambler.
Kenny Rogers is a gambler.
Comment down below.
Comment down below. I lose that one. I'm sorry. My bad. But no, I fell back, held it out real well, just so I can move into the next turns and try and do it. I discarded behind enemy lines to gain a command point, and I'm going to hold on to engage in all fronts because my army does do that very well, and I'll probably be able to pick that up easier next turn. But that's it for my Grey Knight turn 1.
At the end of DJ's turn, I'm going to spend 1 command point and put my 2 Proteus kill teams into reserve, into pick them up, and I will drop them down in my reserve step. That's the Teleportarian strap. For 1 CP, I can do it on the 2 kill teams. So that's what I'm going to do.
All right. We'll be back after Lane's movement.
Suddenly, Proteus kill teams. So at the end of DJ's turn, I picked up both Proteus kill teams using this 1 CP strat, Teleportarian, and in my turn, I brought them down. Oh, what's that guy doing?
He got stuck.
That was an old school 40k rule where you had to roll for scatter on your deep strikes, and he scattered bad. Anyways, they lined up.
Well, he is a firstborn, so he knows old rules.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, wait, I don't have to do this? Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I'm here.
Back in 2nd edition.
Back in my day.
So, anyways, both these Proteus kill teams have eyes on the Land Raider, and Land Raider will not get cover because the intervening pipes here don't count as cover for vehicles. It's only for infantry within 3 inches, so he's not obscured by any ruins or anything, so we're safe there. This Whirlwind squeaked down a little bit so he can get eyes on the Land Raider with his 100 killer missile. My Calidus got in there and got on the objective. We were toying around with trying to get this Hail Strike Speeder to get eyes on the Land Raider. Now, I thought about, I don't have enough movement to move it and get to where I could see the Land Raider here. I tried to put it up on top of the building, but I think the rules for this edition are that if any part of the base overhangs, you can't place it there. I don't think I have the inches to move up and over with fly. So because the base overhangs, I don't think it's legal for me to put that there. So we're not going to do that and worry about me getting eyes on the Land Raider. So hopefully I can do it without the extra AP I won't have cover. He will have true silver armor strat. We're going to throw some dice and see if the Land Raider goes down. Where once was a Land Raider, now is none. I was able to shoot him a bunch. I forgot to mention when I did my command phase, I did choose lethal hits, the Malleus Doctrine for my mission tactics this turn. So all 6s to hit did automatically wound. I was able to kill the Land Raider with terrible rolls on my D6 damage from all my crack missiles. I got some through, but rolled lots of 1s and 2s. I finally peeled off, I think, a 5 with a Hunter Killer Missile from this Whirlwind, and the Whirlwind launcher was able to finish him off. So we did pick up the Land Raider. The other Whirlwind got to pick off 1 guy from one of the squads that came out, so I also killed 1 Strike Squad guy. Next, it's time to roll a couple charges. We're going to see if we can get in here and mess with DJ's Terminators. So I came in without, needed 9-inch charges for those 2 different Proteus kill teams to get into the Terminators. Those are not, I mean, all 4 dice added up together don't even add up to 9. So yeah, the 2 different charge rolls definitively extremely failed.
And this is how you don't make a 9-inch charge.
Yeah. So, but you know what? I'm going to feel good about killing a Land Raider. That's some points off the board. And I'm going to feel good about scoring No Man's Land because I have 2 objectives in No Man's Land now. Assassination, I'm probably going to discard that one for a CP. I think I like CP more than I like trying to pick a Terminator character out of a Terminator squad. So, yeah. So on to DJ's turn.
All right, so we finished the movement phase. My new secondary I got is extend battle lines, and I still have behind enemy lines, so I definitely want to make sure to score that one and score that one huge.
Yeah, that's for Grey Knights to score, is behind or engage in all fronts. That's perfect for this army.
And for this time, I am all on the field. So let's start off with the bad before the good. So I dropped the Purifiers down here and lost 4 to the Overwatch, so I'm going to punish these Terminators for thinking they deserve any rights of removing my Silver Boys from the field. They're demons. They're demons, and they deserve to die.
My DeathWatch mission tactic of lethal hits is still in effect for the battle round, so it includes combat. So if we get into combat, it'll apply there. So basically, anytime I rolled 6s to hit, they automatically wounded as well. So I got lots of wounds. I rolled pretty hot on my 6s on my Overwatch, and I was firing the heavy bolter profile of my Heavy Flamers, Infernus Heavy Flamers, so they have sustained hits anyway. So each 6 automatically wounded, then generated an additional hit that I had to roll to wound. So it's pretty productive Overwatch. I think it's important when we're playing to be good sports about things and make sure our opponents know what's going on. So DJ did me a courtesy of when he brought these Grey Knights forward, and they moved forward from behind the building. I was going to Overwatch them because that was the first move he made with the Heavy Flamers here, hoping I could pick up a Terminator because they are AP1 ignoring cover. But DJ let me know that that was not a good use of CP. So I think that's good sportsmanship because he has basically a Grey Knight's Apothecary in there, and that Apothecary brings back a Grey Knight Terminator at the end of the movement phase. So functionally, I could have killed 1 Terminator and then it would immediately pop back up. So make sure we're letting each other know when we have gotchas in there so we're not surprising people. It's pretty fair play and good sportsmanship to let people know what your shenanigans are.
So over here, we got the Interceptors. And thank you, Lane. Just a cue over here. I did bring the Interceptors and the Strike down. I'm going to try and pick on that Calidus a little bit. Right in there, see if I can't knock her off the field. And Terminators moved up. They'll probably charge something over here. Don't know exactly what yet. My strikes that lost the guy came back down, and they're going to hold this objective just so I guarantee I score extend battle lines, which was my other one. Calidus didn't have much of a role, so she just come back here and hang out with the Dread Knight, just hanging out here in the corner. And then over here, we're doing the exact same thing with these guys. I don't have engaged yet on them, but once I shoot and then scoot, I'm like literally like 1/2 of a base away from it. So we're going to do some shooting. I'm not expecting much from a lot of the shooting, but there is some potential. These Purifiers could do some work over here. So let's see what happens, and we'll be back after I shoot. Okay, so we did some work. First things first, Calidus is gone.
My lady.
So I cannot get Vex now. Still have mine. Over here, Purifiers picked up. What do we got left? How many on here?
5 left there.
5 left. So took out half.
Oh, I'm sorry. 6, because there's the Terminator's part of that squad. You didn't kill any Terminators yet. 4 Terminators and 2 guys.
Okay. So we picked up 4 from that squad. Yep. Ew. Not quite what I'd like to see. And then didn't touch the second squad yet. Operative word there. And then over there, we were able to do a wound to the whirlwind. Hurrah! Whirlwind. And then moved him in there. So I'm going to get the engaged on all front points. But wait, there's more. We're gonna chuck some charges and see what we can make here. Gonna see if we can get the purifiers in, because now Lane can't overwatch me. So it's worth it to just fling some dice and see if I can make some charges, because I got 3 units that are eligible. So let's see how this rolls. So damage-wise, not exactly as I was hoping. However, I still feel like I'm in a really strong position. Like, I feel like I did a lot of work in the actual game scheme of things. And on the positive, too, I didn't lose any Terminators on the smackback. So I was able to do damage and not take any punishment in a turn. I'll take that. And as well as the fact I will score a 5 on engage as well as a 5 on extend battlefield line. So I'm going to make 10 on my secondaries for this turn, as well as my 10 on primary. And I'm going to be pushing Lane to a 5 on primary, which is really nice. At least I'm trying to play, like I said, playing the score. So
it's only nice if you're some kind of Grey Knights fan.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice. But yeah, that's it for me. I will say this. My feeling is a little concerned that I didn't pick up either one of those squads. But since I didn't lose any Terminators on the smackback over here, I'm not as bad of a position. And then Lane's got some units to bring in, so we'll see what he answers back to and how this goes. We'll be back in Lane's in the bottom of 2.
Vengeance for the Calidus. We will take vengeance this turn. So I popped my double Oath of Moment this turn, and these 2 guys, the Purifiers and the Terminators, have both been oaths. So I'll be rolling hits against both of them. I made sure, because I'm playing against Grey Knights, to not move within 9 inches of any units that I want to jump away. Grey Knights have a strat where they can just run away. DJ actually did use that here, because some of the Inceptors did get within 9 inches. That's fine. I had Storm Hostile Objective, so these Inceptors who dropped just outside of... They dropped outside of 9, but these other ones in the corner were within 9. And remember, Inceptors can drop just outside of 3. So he was able to run those guys away. That's fine with me. I'm scoring my secondary of Storm Hostile Objectives. And now I'm going to score some by killing units. Hopefully we get 3 of them this turn. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. I'm going to throw some... I also brought in these Terminators from reserves. We're going to make sure these Purifiers are extra dead. And then hopefully we can charge the other squad in here and do some damage. Although AP2 Thunderhammers and Power Fists are not that great when someone is 2-up armor and they throw on a reducing AP strat. So we'll see what happens when we get to the charge phase. But first, shoots. Okay. DeathWatch shoot pretty good. I did pull my double Oath of Moment. So I did pick up Crow and a squad of Purifiers. Those guys put out quite a bit of damage with their Purifying Flames and their Flamers, so I'm glad that they're gone. And then I did, other than that, I took most of my shooting. The only other thing I did pick up was this 5-man squad that dropped in here. I tagged them with a Hail Strike Speeder first to get extra APM, and it did take both Whirlwinds going into them to finish them off, but I'm glad to take 1 more of DJ's scoring units off the table. So next we're going to charge. This squad, remaining kill team, is going to charge into the Terminator squad here. DJ has a CP for True Silver Armor, so I'm hoping I pick up 2, maybe, if we're lucky. And then he'll get to swing on my remaining kill team before they get to swing back into him. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what who's left when this is all said and done. Good news, guys. I scored 8 on no prisoners. Unfortunately, DJ insists that I actually play by the rules, so it was capped out at 5 for this turn. But we did finish off this this Terminator squad. The Grandmaster is still there, but it was a kind of a spectacular finish to it. I got it down to 1 guy who had 1 wound left. And the last hit was a Thunderhammer. I scored 1 hit and 1 wound with a Thunderhammer with a 5. He was Oath of Momented, so I decided to re-roll the 5, fishing for a 6. And I did get the 6, which did 2 mortals and finished off the squad. So he can't bring anybody back with that Apothecary rule, North Akinium. So we do have the Grandmaster still here. We still have a fair number of my guys left. The Terminators are all still there. We definitely tanked a lot of hits. So feeling pretty good about that. So I did score Storm Hostile Objective. These plasma sectors jumped on there. I did max out no prisoners at 5 because I did pick up 4 units. And then it is on to DJ's turn.
Okay, we are definitely in trouble here because I overcommitted and got punished for it. So hindsight, should have stayed back a little more and held back, but we're going to fight out of this. So the Dread Knight did his little advance, was able to clear the building, land with a 14-inch move, and he's going to pick these guys up here. I have Overwhelming Force as one of my secondaries, so he's going to pick these guys up here, probably on the charge, and still be able to shoot and see what we can do for damage in the shooting phase. Not sure exactly where I'm going to go with that yet. Might go into this kill team and beat them up because I don't want to do too much damage before I get in there. My Calidus came back down to take back the objective, so I didn't get sprayed off over here. I did bring my Voidsmen at arms in. Yeah, they're probably just going to get murdered over here, but at least I have something to start moving on to that objective with. Maybe I can. It's gonna. Yeah, they're gonna die. I can't. Nothing good for them.
Don't be too sad about 40 points getting killed.
Over here is where I'm getting a little risky with it. So I also have Bring It Down. I could have doubled up onto this land's the Whirlwind over there, since I do have the interceptors underneath. But if I can stick a 9-inch charge, then I can OC objective control that objective and put Lane at a 0 on primary for his turn. So we're getting a little risky with it. We'll see what happens, and maybe I'll get lucky and be able to punch it hard enough to bring it down. So let's go over to shooting. All right, so shooting phase. Lane talked a big game, and Las Pistol caught one of his guys in the eye. That's right, our Las gun. And then over here, the Dread Knight, that runs shots at her, was able to pick up 2 out of the Proteus kill team.
So just for clarification, this is 2 separate squads here.
Yeah.
So we got these Terminators. They did scrape the last 2 Firstborn guys off. Now we just got Terminators and Terminators.
Yep. And then Dread Knight completed his charge and was able to tag the objective. So as long as he picks up 1 guy from there, I'll take that objective. I control this objective behind the wall. And with a command point reroll, the strike made it into combat to steal this to at least give Lane a 0 on primary. So we will resolve some combats and see what we can have happen. Wish me luck. All right, so I lost the Grandmaster in the middle. Sad face. Got beat up real bad because of the Oath of Moment, still being on the stack with him. But the Terminators were not able to take the objective. So the original plan of Skunk Lane on primaries does happen.
It worked.
Beat him up over there. But yeah, at least, I mean, getting the 0 on primary helps a little bit. Helps me at least keep the score. But
what did you score?
This is going to be, it's going to be rough into this. So I didn't get Bring It Down, and I'm actually going to pitch that one for a command point. But I only killed 1 unit on an objective, correct? Just that 1 unit?
Yeah, just these.
So I'll just get the 3 on Overwhelming Force. But again, putting Lane at a 0 on primary will really, really help, and we'll see how this goes from there.
Guys, playing against Grey Knights is the worst. You're not allowed to move. So these Terminator squads, part of what I did is I made sure to pile in after these guys, or consolidate after these guys finished off the Grandmaster, so I get a little closer to the Grey Knight, or for the Nemesis Dread Knight for the charge, because I can't move during my movement phase or else jump away. And I just really want him to be dead. I don't want him to disappear. I want him to disappear permanently. If he disappears and doesn't come back, that's great. But if he disappears and then does come back, that's bad. So these 2 Terminator squads could not move. Otherwise, he would jump away. That's why I did not move anybody over onto this objective to hold it. These Inceptors did move up a little bit. They're still outside of 9 to him. And behind enemy lines. Oh, I'm not scoring with it. Doesn't matter. And then that's about it, because a lot of things were kind of frozen. The Terminator squad that I scooped up at the end of this turn, I dropped in here. They're going to try to storm hostile objectives because that is or capture enemy stronghold, which is one of my secondaries, and behind enemy lines, my other one. I should have scored behind enemy lines. I should have gotten these guys over there, but maybe they'll make the charge and make me happy. So that's it. The speeder came out a little bit so we could start moving a little bit more in the game. I'm just kind of giving up this objective here, although I do think the Whirlwind can shoot out of combat with this blast weapon, just not into combat. We'll see if that's necessary. All right, here we go. Shooting. All right, guys. The game state has changed. Everything went very well for the DeathWatch this turn. We're starting here. We killed the last 2 Voidsmen. Then these Terminators finished off the Nemesis Dread Knight. It came down to the Thunderhammer. Did roll a 6 and got the devastating wounds to finish off the last couple wounds off of him. This Terminator squad that made a charge finished off the guys that were inside the building here. And then I did make the charge with the Terminators that were led by my captain because I got to reroll the charge. I got a 10. Went in, killed the Calidus, took this objective. We forgot to roll this, DJ.
Yep, I was going to say. Go ahead and finish out your turn. I'll probably just do some chip damage, and that's it.
It's got 8 wounds left. We'll let you know in DJ's turn if anything happened there of significance. So that will be it for my turn. Big turn. I scored behind enemy lines and capture enemy outposts, and then also killed all of DJ's army.
All right, here we go. This is the first time this is going to happen, so we're going to do a little more recording into this. So I am definitely in trouble. I have 1 unit left over here, and yeah, that's it. So I tried to punch it, tried beating him up. I got him down to 1 wound, yippee, and I still control the objective, but I scored a 0 on primary this turn. Why is that, Lane?
I don't know. I mean, you're on an objective. Is there any reason at all why you would not score primary when you're on an objective? Is there any reason, any mechanic in this game that would make that happen?
Yes, there is. There is one mechanic in the game that would make this happen.
Freaking Gambit.
Ta-da. I am going to attempt to do a Gambit because I am in some trouble. So I have 3 command points. I passed my turn. I did not score anything on anything at all. And we're going into Lane's turn. So Lane has opted to spend a command point to pick these Terminators up.
Yep, they're up in the air.
And now he's got to make some decisions, a little bit. Not too much, but we're gonna see what he does and how he plays this out. So this is the bottom of 4. And Lane does score a 10 on primary. And yeah, moving on to Lane.
Tell me what's about to happen.
You're about to see me throw double 6s and score 30 points and win this game.
All right, because there's a gambit going on. These boys are over here within 9 inches of the corner. You've only got 1 unit in the corner, so it just has to be a pure 12.
It has to be a 12. But I get 2 points for investigate signals.
Yeah, he did actually pull investigate signals, so it's perfect lineup. Okay, this is it.
All right.
Cold dice.
So here it is. Here's the 12.
Here's the 12er. Oh, that's less than 12. Oh, wait, what's...
Oh, that's a 12. No, that was not it. It was a 4. It wasn't even close. Can I use a CP reroll? No, I don't think it can, but no, that's a 7. All right, so, yeah.
I still have my turn to go. Interestingly, that gambit does happen at the end of your turn. So
happens at the end of my turn.
At the end of DJ's turn, not the end of the game. So that way I couldn't kill him off of that. You know, so it actually gives a little bit of a fighting chance, but I'm going to pull my cards, score out my thing, and then we'll be back in a second with the final score. It took some doing, but out of pure spite, I'll actually just score more on my secondaries. You want to score all you can just because points do matter in tournaments a lot of times. So we put all the shots from the Hail Strike Speeder into this last squad. The Whirlwind also shot into him. There's 1 guy left, and based on the advice of my Warhammer lawyer, I tank shocked with the speeder when we went in for 1 CP, and it did. I did roll 4 or 5 up, so definitely finished off the last guy from that squad, completing the tabling, but also giving me extend battle lines where I had to hold my home field or my deployment zone objective, which was this one, and control 1 in no man's land. In addition to that, I got cleanse, which was just to do 2 actions on 2 objectives outside your deployment zone. Did that, and then they got the bonus 15. So DJ, all of that added up. What's our final score?
DeathWatch 90, Grey Knights 40.
All right, guys. We'll see you over in the post-game chat, and we'll talk a little bit about how everything went.